Hello, good evening. The UK, Cornwall, will host the G7 next month, an attempt to show the world that global Britain's thriving. Against this positive backdrop is the story of our own cuts to international aid, enshrined in law, but sliced this year to help repair the economy at home. Tonight we hear the profound effect those cuts are having on projects that should have gone ahead this year, as leading charities show us the damage the delay has caused. One, War Child, was promised every pound they raised from public donations would be matched by the government. Last month they were informed their funding would be pushed back 10 months, which leaves a £1 million project stranded and children at risk of abuse and exploitation. Some argue that the pandemic has made it impossible to meet that promised generosity this year. Aid charities argue it's the very nature of the pandemic which should be making us meet our international obligations more urgently. We'll ask what messages this sends out, and we begin with this report by Nick Watt. Very much indeed. Boris Johnson's comments comparing the women wearing burqa to a letterbox have given an impression that the Tories are insensitive to Muslim communities, an independent review has found. The report was ordered back in 2019 into how the party handles discrimination allegations. It found clear evidence the Conservative Party's complaint system is in need of overhaul. It found anti-Muslim views at a local and individual level, but it said claims of institutional racism were not borne out by evidence. The author's report suggested it should make uncomfortable reading for the party, which has accepted those findings in full. Now, the actress Dame Maureen Lipman has quit the actors' union Equity after 54 years over its stance on Israel. Dame Maureen called on other Jewish performers to get the hell out of the union after it urged members to join pro-Palestine marches, some of which have been marred by allegations of anti-Semitism. Ms Lipman said the issue of Israel had become an obsession for Equity. She left after the union's president called for the government to sign a petition calling for sanctions against the country. Well, joining us now, Tracy Ann Oberman. You'll recognise from It's a Sin, EastEnders, Friday Night Dinner. I could go on, but Tracy, just talk us through the source of this anger now that you see amongst colleagues in the union or leaving the union. Got involved in this. I mean, I guess you could say that the union is only ever the sum of its parts, right?
Well, I don't know, actually. I think if you look at the...
It won't surprise you to know we contacted Equity. We asked them to come on and respond to Maureen Lipman. They sent a statement, said they stand in solidarity with the Jewish community, the fight against anti-Semitism, and it's having ongoing conversations with Jewish members. I mean, does it stop?
No, it doesn't stop here. I mean, already
Thank you very much. And again, we appeal to Equity to come on and respond to some of those thoughts, but they couldn't make it tonight. Let's take you through the front pages before we go. Vaccines hit a new high as all over 30s are now offered jobs, so that age is coming down quite rapidly. Johnson takes lead on stiffer sentences for dog nappers. There's him walking his dog. And UCAS plan to drive more teenagers towards apprenticeships after that huge number applying for universities there over the last year of pandemic. The Daily Mail has 40,000 jobs lost at firms targeted by sharks. I think they mean private equity tycoons. Axed almost 40,000 staff in the pandemic. That's the Mail's revelation. And The Guardian has anger forces climb down over travel restrictions. And the report on Islamophobia here has been called a whitewash. That is all from us tonight. But before we go, it's 1 year since the death of George Floyd. Events have been taking place around the world to remember him and the movement his shocking death unleashed. As well as the man who was murdered, George Floyd has become a symbol of division, of unity, of brutality, of healing, of despair and of hope. And we leave you tonight with some of those many depictions of George Floyd.